What's up, guys, and welcome back to the ProDota National Cup. We are in lower bracket semifinals. I think that's technically where we are. Winner of this goes up against Turkey. Winner of that goes to the grand finals to face up against Team Russia, who are sitting pretty comfortably there, and they've been kicking some serious ass, Team Russia. So, yeah, I would not be surprised to see them take the whole thing, but this is where we get to see who actually has the chance of contesting them. Whether it's going to be Team Romania now on the Radiant, or it's going to be Team Yugoslavia region, kind of, on the Dire. Why aren't there any picks? Someone should probably be picking something or banning something right now. There we go. So we're actually in this for real. I'm Mikelorus, going to be your caster for today. And what do we have to expect from these two teams? Now, Team Romania, they've been getting some wins. They've been playing, like, all of their games. Like, no joking, like, almost all of their games with Timbersaw. I'm not sure how it keeps on working all the time, but I mean, if you don't expect it, man, Timbersaw can come out of nowhere and kick your ass. So you got to make sure that you have the disable, you have ideally a lot of magical burst damage, but really just, you know, any small mini disable just to prevent that Timber Chain from kicking your ass, and making sure you have a decent lane as well. Timbersaw is a hero that can be left alone up against, you know, some of the more traditional solo offlane heroes, or, you know, those types of heroes, the Darkseers and the Clockworks of the world, and just do perfectly fine. So you're going to have to make sure that if you are going to go up against a Timbersaw lane, you have to be ready with at least a 50-50 lane matchup. If you have a lane matchup that's like 70-30, not in your favor, then you're not going to have a good time. Now, at this point, Romania have done it enough times that probably Team Yugoslavia know what's going on. Like, I would say there's like an 80% chance that they are going to be picking around the fact that there will be eventually a Timbersaw picked up in this set. But for right now, it's going to be Vengeful Spirit and Lone Druid, both to get the boot out, Wisp as well. Still, regardless of the status of the Timbersaw and how popular it may or may not be for Team Romania, still got to keep your eyes on the pushing. It seems like that's pretty much what this patch is, I'm going to say, devolving into, since I like the last meta. That's maybe just me, guys, but I really like that patch. This time it feels like a little bit too aggressive early on. But who knows? We'll see what Team Romania want to pick up first. Of course, their options are pretty widespread. I haven't actually casted anyone who's gone for a super early, like Death Prophet or OD. I haven't casted a single OD game. Like, what the hell, man? Come on. One of these teams have got... Well, it's not going to happen right now, but seems like it's not going to happen. Yeah, they just like haven't been picking up OD, and I'm kind of disappointed at that. But right now, Team Romania actually grab a Darkseer, and that is a perfectly fine first pick, especially with an Oracle already banned out. Now, for Yugoslavia, they could very easily go ahead and grab a Disruptor and be okay with having that counter, and of course, denying that combo to Team Romania. The weirdest thing about the Darkseer is that usually you don't fit Darkseers into Timbersaw drafts. I mean, maybe they can find a way around it, but, you know, for the most part, you would expect this to be just a Darkseer going into a solo lane. And that's perfectly fine as well, until there are a couple problems presented by a first pick Invoker, who I would say in general is a little bit stronger overall than the first pick Darkseer, especially nowadays. Especially if you're going for a Wex Invoker build, Tornado is just the nuts versus the Darkseer. And of course EMP if you drain out the Darkseer, which isn't very easy to do. Like, he has a lot of mana, but if you do burn any of his mana, then being able to pull off your entire combo and still have, you know, mana for like the mechanism and whatnot may or may not be a little bit more difficult for the Darkseer. It's a kind of curious follow-up to that Invoker. Usually you keep your options pretty open, or if you're going up against a Darkseer, again, you go ahead and just slam pick that Disruptor. Well, it's going to be neither of those. It's going to be a Dazzle, a little bit of a last patch kind of pick here. Still a very strong hero for sure. But yeah, it doesn't seem like this Dazzle is going to be getting value yet. Like, I feel like if it's one of those heroes that it's probably one of the Yugoslavians' more comfortable heroes, and therefore they pick it up early, not because it's like overtly powerful in the situation. They could still make it powerful with the third and fourth picks if they find some way to... There we go! Thank you, Team Romania. It's about frickin' time. If they find some other pick combos to make this Dazzle a little bit stronger, or mitigate the weakness of the Dazzle, which is he doesn't really play a very great early aggressive game, by having someone else who does, then that's really how you get value out of the second pick Dazzle. For right now, Team Romania grab two pretty heavy-hitting intelligence heroes. OD, of course, going to be going towards that mid lane most likely. Although side lane OD maybe it's still viable, who knows, but the matchup versus Invoker seems pretty like 50-50-ish. The best thing for OD right now is that he doesn't really have to worry about a duo of supports coming and crashing his lane. It is still very possible that we see like an Earthshaker or something picked up for the for Team Yugoslavia, and then they just run that, and they're happy with that. And then that sort of hero to apply pressure towards the OD is something that the OD definitely has to watch out for. Dazzle, not as much so. It is also possible that we see a Shadow Demon pick up. Yeah, I don't know how possible that one is, but hey man, if you're talking about getting a combo to make your Dazzle a little bit more aggressive, that's the hero. It is also worth noting that for Team Yugoslavia, they have been running their Pudge with startling frequency. Yeah, I know, right? Like Team Romania always picking Timbersaw, Team Yugoslavia always picking Pudge. It didn't really work well enough versus Team Turkey, since I mean that's did they pick it up versus Team Turkey? No, I don't think they did. I think it was like the person before that, the team before that. Yeah, but they've been doing some work with their Pudge. Might have been Team Denmark. I think it was Denmark. Let's take a quick look. And yeah, Lacoste just like spam picked that Pudge. But the Beastmaster is going to be the pick over the Pudge, at least for right now. Again, adding a little bit of an aggressive mix into the Team Yugoslavians draft. Versus OD versus Darkseer specifically, Beastmaster, not exactly the best hero to have. I mean, I would even say that Astral Imprisonment is like or OD rather, because of Astral Imprisonment is like kind of a natural counter to Beastmaster. Yeah, I guess you're kind of setting up for the Invoker when you bubble your buddy, but for the most part, Roar is just going to be hard blocked by this. Which I realize you guys can't really read, but you can see enough. Pretty classic response there. Oh, Visage for Romania. That is interesting. So, is there any chance... I mean, they banned out the Nyx Assassin. Is there any chance that we see a Drow Ranger here? I would say there's definitely a non-zero chance. The power of Visage Drow is not to be understated. You get the Darkseer for the interference in the front lines. And OD, I mean, he's not really the best hero to have with Drow Ranger. Damage is always good, but... it feels like at certain points it's like damage overkill, and you really would prioritize survivability over that much DPS. He also is not really a hero that pushes fantastically. Like, he will do a decent amount of damage to those towers. Everyone will, should they pick up a Drow here. But this Visage is at the very least going to make Team Yugoslavia just a little bit worried. Like, they don't really have any fantastic heroes of getting on top of the Drow Ranger. Beastmaster, again, is okay. Invoker, depending on his build, is okay at bursting the Drow Ranger down as well, but they really do lack that starting hero. And they banned them out the Bane and Witch Doctor themselves, which would have been the heroes to, maybe on a smaller scale early game, just ambush the Drow Ranger, try to pick her off a couple times. As far as core heroes are concerned, there are a multitude of heroes that will do well up against the Drow Ranger, with the intent of just getting on top of that hero and then killing them off immediately. And most of those heroes don't fare extremely well versus the Darkseer. It is possible to see a Slark here for Team Yugoslavia, but I don't know. I think they're probably going to have to see the Drow Ranger first before they really start to hard counterpicking it in that regard. They could just grab another support hero. Again, a little bit of more of roamer, maybe help out the Invoker, help out the Beastmasters to tad. Getting a Gyrocopter also just seems perfectly fine, I guess. It's he'd usually not fault a hero for a team for doing that. And Kel Surprise, that is going to be a Gyrocopter pick here for Team Yugoslavia. Alright, so they got a pretty much last patch draft going on here. Now, for right now, Romania, they can very easily grab a Drow Ranger, but again, it's like, why bother? You can make the enemy team scared, to kind of force them to waste a ban. You get the last pick if you're Team Romania, so pick up something non-Drow related, pick up some other random support hero.
10 seconds remaining.
With a Visage, you usually want to have a hero that is a little bit more prone to the fights and the early roam. Obviously, getting a little bit more crowd control for Team Romania is going to be certainly very, very nice. Vengeful Spirit would have been a pretty decent one. Unfortunately, that one was banned out a long, long time ago. Shadow Shaman still in the pool. Sven is still in the pool, I guess.
Dire team ban.
It's a pretty interesting draft we're seeing built up by Team Romania. Now, I do kind of like having Sven up against a Gyrocopter, just being able to focus that hero down. yeah, it's maybe a little bit risky since you're racing Rocket Barrage, but the value is certainly very
10
high.
seconds
You have someone in the
remaining.
Darkseer, which is, pretty easy 1-2 punch. You can win you a team fight out of absolutely
5
nowhere, add
seconds
an
remaining.
Eclipse on top of that, and a Sandy's Eclipse on top of that, and you're going to be rolling in the dough. Sven
Reserve
OD,
time.
how does that combo work exactly? I don't really think those heroes play very well together. I mean, they don't really play poorly together. Just seems like it's, powerful hero and powerful hero,
Radiant
and,
team
who could say no to that? AA is actually looking okay for Team Romania. He's going to get a soft counter versus the Dazzle, but adding that chilling touch of the Sven and the Visage can make any lane where they go just so extremely deadly. And the beauty of OD and Darkseer is that they usually
10
don't need any help.
seconds
Like, you
remaining.
can help them, I guess, if you really want to, but for the most part, they are going to be
5
extremely
seconds remaining.
well contained in their own lanes. Of course, grabbing the Ancient Apparition
Reserve
sacrifices
time.
crowd control, but you have a Sven. I guess that's maybe good enough. It might not be good enough. Yeah, but when they get those type of heroes, catching the Beastmaster off guard is going to be a little bit easier. The catch for both sides isn't really super high. Maybe the Sven's going to go for an early Blink Dagger. Maybe the Beastmaster is going to get a decent amount of
Dire
farm.
team pick.
But, outside of that, catching off one isolated hero is maybe going to be a little bit more difficult. Is it best of one? This is a best of 3, guys. So, yeah, whoever wins this is not done just yet. Team Yugoslavia not going to be the Enigma. That and the Nature's Prophet both being banned out. So like this seems like Team Romania a little bit scared of the greed plays.
10 seconds
Chen doesn't
remaining.
seem amazing here for Team Yugoslavia. I mean, those type of
5
junglers, the
seconds
Chen
remaining.
Enchantress types. They can go for them, I suppose, but again, it's not going to really be the best. I'd like to see a support that can play a little bit more aggressively.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure if we're talking like over Magi levels. What?
Radiant team pick.
Well, okay. Pugna. Now, usually for Pugna drafts, it's going to be a hero that you select if you are going to be kind of a lower farmed core hero, like the one position Pugna is usually what we see. It doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing that. In fact, is it actually going to be a
10
support
seconds
Pugna?
remaining.
Maybe. So, it's definitely going to be a different Pugna game
5
from what we're
seconds
used to.
remaining.
And I say what we're used to. We never see Pugna. I never see Pugna. Maybe I'm just out of date. I haven't really been keeping up.
Reserve
But
time.
yeah, Pugna this game is mostly just picked up. Well, I mean, no, I'm not going to say that. So he's not really picked up for Nether Blast in this game. Like, having that nuke is certainly very nice. And Team Romania going to finalize their draft with the Tusk. Easy way of getting the Sven into the fight, getting the kills thereafter. But for the Pugna, it seems like the value that he's going to have is mostly going to be in that Nether Ward and also in that Decrepify. Sven versus Decrepify is not good times. Romania will have, I guess, the OD to kind of wait that one out, but for the most part, if you land a Stormhammer on, say, a Gyrocopter, you expect to beat down on the Gyrocopter. You don't expect to be decrepified, or the enemy will be decrepified, and then you literally can't do anything anymore. So there is some value in that. Lacoste is going to be playing the Pugna. Interesting. But yeah, aside from that, you get, of course, that ward. And going up against a Darkseer, going up against an OD, those mana costs are super expensive. Even Visage, like, he doesn't really have the cheapest mana cost in the game. We can actually take a quick sweep of the mana cost, see how hard that ward is going to hit. 100, 170, or I guess a little bit less than that as time
Prepare
progresses.
for
I don't know if the familiars are really going to be resummoned all the time in the fight. Yeah, but the mana costs certainly are there, so it does seem like a kind of narrow pick, but I'm interested to see if it's actually going to work, since where's this Pugna actually going to go? How is he going to end up? I mean, you have a Gyrocopter already speeding out towards the top lane, with boots first, in fact. Seems like he wants to try to get on top of this Darkseer. And Pugna has quite the awesome opening. He has, like, the exact same opening as the Invoker, at least item-wise. So it seems like Team Yugoslavia are experimenting just a tad here. I mean, is there any value to, like, Pugna and Dazzle together? I'm trying to, like, think of some sort of combo that's here, and I, for the love of me, can't think of it. For the life of me, not for the love of me.
30 seconds to
That's not a phrase. That's not how you English. So it seems like these heroes just, like, don't work at all together. They don't counter each other, so it's not a non-bow, which is kind of okay, I guess. But, yeah, this is gonna be kind of locked down by Surge. Like, Decrepify is pretty decent until the enemy surges, especially Decrepify with Rocket Barrage. Oh baby, that's a combo. No, Synergy already going to taste a couple of those rockets. Only level 1 rocket barrage right now, but Mitch does have boots, so Synergy already taking half-ish of his HP, forces Tango out. By the way, we got Victor, who's going to be playing the supporting Dazzle for the team. Mitch is going to be on the Gyrocopter. Cole is playing his mid lane Invoker with the Cost handling the Pugna. Got Grazine on the solo offlane Beastmaster. On the other end, Team Romania, they are going to be, oh, sucks for them. This feels so bad. Putting Razvan on the Visage over on the Sven. It's Massacre. Got Keanu playing the sweet-looking OD, and of course Tusk is going to be following up behind him as Illusionist, and oh, Synergy. He's in between a rock and a hard place. He does not want to be with these two heroes right on top of him, although with double Ion Shell, he'll get himself a little bit more safety a little bit sooner. It's actually going to be a Beastmaster Pugna lane. If they have a situation where they're able to get just a little bit of lane presence here, whether it's through getting a kill, whether it's through beating down on a Visage really hard, then they'll be able to shove the tower like nobody's business. In fact, for Beastmaster, it may even be possible to grab a very early point of Inner Beast, like go Inner Beast and the summons and just completely ignore, look at that, they finally found the Observer Ward, good for them, and just completely ignore the Wild Axis here, because you are up against a Sven, so he will have that Warcry. Additional armor is, usually pretty good up against the Wild Axis, which is physical damage. I guess it is pretty good up against the Visage, but outside of that, like being able to shove the wave with Inner Beast and Blast, if you are sustainable enough in your mana department, does have some serious value in that. It will kill their kill power though. If you don't have axes, it's really difficult to get those kills, and just having these 3 heroes on this bottom lane making things a little bit difficult for Grazine. He's gonna grab level 2 aura, so the wave is gonna be shoved in a little bit more. But again, if you go in a little bit too far, suddenly Illusionist is coming on top of you with the snowball and shards, almost level 2 this Tusk, and then you get Storm Hammered, then things get really ugly really quickly. But until that's gonna happen, let's take a look at how this mid lane is progressing. Cole's doing just fine with his Exhort right now, but is losing an okay amount of intelligence. With the Alacrity at his disposal, Keanu's not going to be able to fully lock down the lane, but at the same time, OD happily last hitting until he misses on the uphill. Kind of sucks, but there we go. He's going to be just fine in this lane. And again, Dazzle rotating in poses pretty much no threat at all to Keanu. The only way he dies, I feel, is if he, just puts himself in a bubble and then gets Sunstruck. Or, he'll get Cold Snap, Poison Touch, but again, he has the prisons, so he should be fine. Bottom lane. I'm not really sure if this is going to be working out completely for Team Yugoslavia. Again, it hasn't happened yet, but Illusionist does have his combo. So being able to just get right on top of the Pugna, and he's not really going to stand much of a chance. I guess Synergy rather, isn't really doing that great either. I mean, the Boots first opening for Mitch is going to be the more dangerous opening for Darkseer to worry about. But still, it's not really something that is going to make him super panicky in this lane. As long as he has his button on the Surge, as long as he doesn't run into a Sunstrike, he should be able to just trade hits with Victor, or keep an eye on the Gyrocopter. Like, if Gyrocopter starts approaching, he backs off, but until then, trading damage is perfectly reasonable, especially once he gets the Soul Ring. Oh, Jesus, I knew that was going to happen. I look away for 1 second. Give Team Yugoslavia a flag. That's probably a good idea. But that's also not my responsibility. I'll whip that up for you guys real quick. Is this the right one? I completely missed First Blood because I knew that was going to happen. It only takes like 1 second of lapse time to get on top of Pugna and kill him off. That's why the hero is not exactly super common, because he is frickin' paper. Let's see if this will work. It's really big. Hold up, guys. I have to do like many things at the same time. But Invoker in the meantime is getting his ass kicked. He's going to whip up a Ghost Wall. Keanu does not have level 6 yet. Meantime, Victor and Synergy kind of duking it out. But yeah, let's work on this camera work, guys. Let's not miss anything anymore, because we ain't no amateurs here. Illusionist is gonna stumble into this lane with Keanu. Snowballing into Cole with no mana on this Invoker will almost assuredly mean his death. The orbs are not super high level right now, but man, it does enough damage for sure to kill off an Invoker. Actually, Invoker wants to go aggressive. Victor coming around from behind him. Got Poison Touch, but immediately the OD is gonna bubble himself. A little bit of damage here, not clear out the illusions unfortunately, but now all the crowd control is gone, and there's no more mana for a Sunstrike. So Keanu should be able to freely return to this lane, and here we go on the bottom lane. They got Grazine. He's trapped in the shards. He already took the stun from Massacre, but he's just getting beaten down by one too many heroes. Soul Assumption for the finishing blow, as is typical Visage fashion. And the Beastmaster is getting absolutely no cover from the Pugna. Cole also, who looks like he got eclipsed. Victor also taking a lot of damage, but no, Keanu runs out of mana, but he still gets the kill. Cole loses the aggro of the creep, so he won't die, but Keanu does barely edge out that kill versus the Dazzle and escape with his life at the same time. Cole's actually nowhere close to having mana for Sunstrike, so this OD should get back to the base and be just fine. Yeah, but this bottom lane, Pugna's defensive power is non-existent right now because he doesn't have Decrepify. Again, Netherward is pretty good up against Team Romania once they actually group up with their mechanism or whatnot, their items on the Sven, any items, honestly, and, you know, try to go for some sort of push. Until then, in lane, Netherward is not really a skill that you want. You put it down and the enemies just disengage, and it's very, very easy to play around. Again, I'm not really sure what the point of this Team Yugoslavian lane is. I would love to know, guys. It seems like it is just, you know, steady pressure. But you cannot really contest with this Tusk lane. Like, having this Sven free access of being able to get in and land a Stormhammer at melee range, then beat down with, of course, the Visage, who, you know, assuming he has any mana, will also be doing a lot of damage. There's no way that the dire side win trades there, like damage trades. There's no way they win races either, so they just gotta hope that they keep the enemies on the defensive and hope that Lacoste doesn't get hit with the shards. So he will get hit, but gets nudged out of there. But you can see Netherward dropped instantly, not instantly dead with Decrepify, but I mean, they have all day, man. They'll wait here forever to kill off that ward. Easy. And now Netherward's down for what seems like forever when you're playing a Pugna. Alright, let's see if I get this flag going. Let's see if it will look like shit or not. Boom. It does kind of look like shit, but we'll fix it. Oh, jeez. Okay, we got it. It's their fault, guys, for not having a team logo. That's good enough. That is good enough. There's no star, but man, you guys can't be too greedy. While all this is happening, Mitch is going to be free lasting up at this top lane. He's got the Ring of Aquila turned on. He's got phase boots. Has nothing. No, he has his wand on the courier.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, so he's going to get an okay amount of value up in this top lane. And him having, well, I'm in level 6, but he's level 7, is going to make this Darkseer's life very difficult. The extra nuke damage is pretty easy to underestimate as a Darkseer. You think like, oh, my Surge will get me out, but not all the time, really. Especially if you're constantly using Soul Ring and burning yourself down a little bit. So Mitch should be pretty happy up here. Again, Victor hasn't really done a ton in this lane. Like, he's been trying his best to roam around. So, you know, pretty decent for him, but level 2 Dazzle is not really going to be anything to write home about. Cole, man, this OD's pressure. I thought this lane would be a little bit more even. Cole is having a really rough time, even with a couple of interferences from the Dazzle. Bottom lane, looks like they're going to turn things around. They already used the Decrepify, however, Gruzine is nowhere close to Aurora. Call down, though, will come in. Onto 2 heroes. Second missile will land on Mascari. Now here comes the Rocket Barrage. Sunstrike is there as well. Mascari will get chopped down. Illusionist hit the flat cannon range. One more right click from the Pug. Not quite it. Is there any projectile mid-flight? No. The Gyrocopter, oh, he had one more flat cannon shot, but he couldn't get it out in time. Yet still they get the kill on the Sven. Keep everyone alive on this bottom lane. The roaming Gyrocopter starting to kick into gear, perhaps. Of course, level 3 Dazzle really can't do that much to hold his tower up against a high-level Darkseer. In fact, he was the one that might actually get dove really soon. You see the Tusk gets the express trip back to the base. But having a Gyrocopter on the roam is not really the worst thing in the world. It's not something you want to do all the time, but if you do have that enough setup, then you can get some work done. And that setup may or may not involve just Decrepify into Rocket Barrage, the combo that I thought was going to be a little more prevalent in the lane, but, you know, obviously those 2 heroes weren't in the lane. At least not together. But now that it is at least possible, with the call down as well, you can nuke heroes down from, you know, 80 to 0 pretty darn easily. Especially with the Sunstrike on top. Sunstrike is just the, in case you need it type spell. They shouldn't always need it. In fact, Cole should probably just, you know, worry about this lane, because he's being denied a lot. 21 denies in Keanu is no joke. And at this point, OD, like, he could just rush him down a little bit, maybe bubble him, land a couple more shots, and then use Eclipse. At the same time, not taking that much damage. OD has a lot of armor, guys. I mean, he used to be called Obsidian Destroyer, so it was made out of obsidian, so, you know, that's where the armor comes from. That is me justifying armor choices, armor selections from Ice Frog. Now, once Gruzine gets his level 6, they'll be a lot better off, but over in mid lane, the trap is up on Cole. He can instantly whip with that Invis. And there's actually just no detection here, so yeah, there was no chance of killing off this Invoker. But, you know, what did they actually use? A trap, or Imprison and a Shards? Who cares? Cole's mana expenditure is going to be a lot more expensive than that, or at least for the Invoker to afford. And at the same time, Ghost Walk has a pretty lengthy cooldown, so maybe next time for Team Romania they'll make that happen. But right now they're pretty happily farming. Sven's on top of the CS board. Razevan is in a pretty rough spot, however, because Cuisine's blocking his way. Can he slip around him? It seems like, yes, just barely he'll get around. And Mascare's gonna come in already. God Strength is prepped up. Cuisine's gonna take a beating here. Here comes the call down, however. It's gonna be completely dodged. And the Sunstrike will also be dodged, but the second missile does land. Mitch still doing a lot of damage with that Black Hand. Is gonna grab a double kill. Mascare. He's trying to race Mitch. One rocket barrage, then Clips comes down. Mitch, though, is decrepified by Lacoste, who may or may not die to the trolls, but it's gonna be a 4-for-1 exchange. Are you kidding me? In favor of Team Yugoslavia. That decrepify, though. I said it before, guys. I said it before. I said that if you're Sven and if you Stormhammer someone with God Strength prep, you expect to kill that target. But it's literally not possible when you can't attack them. So Decrepify coming in like a freaking MVP. Level 1 value in Decrepify right there. And Mitch just shows off why you don't mess with the Gyrocopter, guys. Like, Gyrocopter's been first pick material for the past, like, oh, I don't know, 2 years. You don't mess with this guy. Like, level 4 Rocket Barrage with call down. It hurts like a bitch. And that was even with a decent Eclipse from OD, a fantastic Snowball from Illusionist. Like, dodged the entire first missile. Really just threw a wrench into the Yugoslavia initiation there. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's Gyrocopter, man. Gyrocopter and Pugna. The combo that no one expected. Again, it seems really narrow. Like, having the Pugna here doesn't really seem like enough to justify this. But, hey, man, if it works, it works. Lacoste now going to team up with Mitch, and they're on the hunt once again. They catch someone like Razevan, Decrep, Missile, Roar even. Oh no, they're not going to go for Razevan. They're going to go for Mascare. Sunstrike is on point as well. Mascare sitting in the missiles and the rockets. Mitch is going to grab that kill. Again, it gets a lot easier once Cuisine grabs his level 6. And that is, by the way, now up. Time to go for this tower push. Level 1 Aura only. Level 2 Blast only, not a lot of mana sustain here. So this tower not going to drop super quickly, but should probably fall as Team Romania just concede this one to the Yugoslavians, try to get something elsewhere, get Keanu a little bit more farm. What does he got right now? Just a whole bunch of intelligence. Cole actually has his hand in Midas, so he should be just fine to recover. Keanu, though, is actually pretty good up against summons. That didn't cross my mind, but he's pretty good up against them. Cole this time does not have mana for the Ghost Walk, nor does he have the time. He's dead. Lacoste going to arrive, blast up Illusionist. Hero coming in from behind, that's Razevan, but Lacoste has gone in way over his head. He has the Decrepify for himself, but he can't quite get it off. Razevan, he's diving pretty deep for that Gyrocopter. Not really going to be anywhere close to getting it. Taking up with tower shots for his troubles. But bottom lane tower does fall in the end. Does just cost Team Yugoslavia 2 heroes, which is super expensive. They'll call down, try to defend their mid-tier 1. They can do this if they rotate a couple more heroes and just fully defend it. But Team Romania have this pick-off potential, have this OD who has really yet to fully kick into gear. Like, he almost has that Arcane Orb hitting for, yeah, an easy plus 100 something damage. Not to mention the fact that it gets stronger, only stronger. So I feel like it kind of has to be Team Yugoslavia just non-stop play with this roaming Gyrocopter. Get those pickoffs, maybe try to angle for, you know, either a tier 1 mid lane or Roshan or some sort of objective. Going for Mascare ain't too bad. They have Aurora up. Mascare sure as hell isn't going to see this one coming. And here comes the Axis, clearing a path. Roar, not going to land just yet. Mascare is going to pop the Warcry, but the Roar still connects. Here comes the Sunstrike and the Rocket Barrage. Man, that range on the Roar. Cuisine's been doing some vocal exercises, guys, because that seemed like it was out of range. But no, he caught him. I also like the little combo of Roar clearing the way so that Sunstrike doesn't get split between any other creeps or heroes. It's a pretty sweet little synergy there. It's not like a huge combo, but I mean, it's kind of nice. Oh, players. Not going to get picked off by Mitch, but this is what they have to do when you have this kind of jank draft, when your Invoker is not having the cleanest time versus the OD, although Invoker with the Hand of Midas is very quickly recovering. Gotta go for these objectives, man. Rotate around 24/7. Victor in the meantime, he was up on top lane, going up against Synergy. Yeah, Synergy is level 9, very close to his mechanism. They trade tower for tower, but the Dazzle, who was level 2 like 7 minutes in or like 5 minutes in, yeah, is now level 7, so he's good to go, man. Got the healing wave up, he's got the grave. And if you can grave someone, protect themselves from the OD ultimate, yeah, feels pretty good. Another tool, much like that Decrepify, which is just going to completely brick wall the aggressive attempts of Team Romania. Team Romania, they just need to get a handful of items up. Mascare is going to open up with an Ogre Club. Is it just a straight BKB first? Seems pretty decent, but I'm not really sure if they're going to be able to do enough aggressively with that BKB timing. Keanu does have his Hand of Midas. A bit slower than the Invoker, but then again, he went for a lot more stats. Mechanism is up on the Darks here. So Team Romania are almost ready to fight as soon as they get this first item up on Mass Carry. Once they get that, Sven's going to be a little bit more willing to go in and start swinging at things. But until that item is up, having a Mechanism, having a Hand of Midas isn't really a huge pushing point for Team Romania. Most likely, they're still going to be on the responsive. They'll take tower trades when they can get it, as they have been, but free kills, that seems pretty good, especially a high priority kill like the Gyrocopter. If they imprison him, he's just dead. They might not even need to. Here comes a snowball. Walrus Punch. Shards are going to go pretty long. Mitch does get the call down out before he dies. With the Mechanism, yeah, and the Invis Rune even from the OD, Victor actually going to teleport right into a lot of damage. They lose the Gyrocopter, and it's a pretty easy pick off here for Team Romania. Can they go for any sort of aggressive play towards structures? I don't really know if that's the case, but they are surging the OD forward. Still got that Invis. Going to find Grazine. Does he realize it's the real one? He should realize it. Grazine's going to try to ring around the trees, but he's taking so much damage. And the Eclipse. 600 damage? Oh, baby. Yeah, Beastmaster is not going to survive that. Not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, the Beastmaster. It's a pretty easy 2-kill here for Team Romania. Again, taking the objectives afterwards is going to be the hardest part of their game plan. But after, 2 kills like that, it seems like the door might just be open wide enough so that they can just walk right in. And Cole and Lacoste have to be very careful. These heroes are not very durable. Mechanism being built up in Pugna, and to be fair, in that kind of awkward dual offlane scenario, Mechanism timing is pretty reasonable for a Pugna here. But yeah, see, taking the structures here for Team Romania is going to be the hardest part until they get Sven with some sort of aggressive item. And BKB even won't really be that item, so they have to wait a little while longer. But hey, you walk around, spend very little, lose nothing, get a couple kills. Seems pretty good. Just a little bit more farm space for the Sven, getting rid of that Gyrocopter threat a little bit. Mitch is gunning straight towards that SNY. Should have that one at a very good timing. At the same time, OD is working with his Hand of Midas now, skyrocketing ahead of the Invoker at least. Narrowly ahead of that Gyrocopter. And maybe sooner or later we're going to see this Pugna start to fall off. I know, right? Like, it doesn't seem like Pugna has even started to play this game yet. His success in this game doesn't really depend on him surviving. Doesn't depend on his life drain. Obviously doesn't value that highly. It's all about decrepifying someone who's being targeted by the Sven. Like, ideally for Team Yugoslavia now, their Gyrocopter gets Stormhammered. Lacoste immediately decrepifies him. And then the Nether Ward is just ignored in the entire time. A lot of things have to go right for a Pugna to have a good game plan here. Obviously, having the Mechanism is going to increase his chance of survivability. It's going to make it a little bit easier for him to reposition himself and whatnot. But it's all about this Nether Ward for Pugna. You can see, I mean, it's maxed out, so there's that indication. But you're going up against an OD, a very high mana expenditure hero, and the Nether Ward is going to hit him very hard if the OD isn't very careful. That being said, this is magical damage, so should the OD get a BKB, and I would expect in this game that he will eventually go for one. Maybe not as his first item after Midas, but, once he gets that, then, screw the Nether Ward. Someone else can take care of it. Keanu's just going to be busy wailing away with his plus 100-ish damage. Yeah, so this is why the Pugna pick is... I'm a little bit on edge with this Pugna pick. There is a pretty high chance that because I have not been watching a lot of Dota recently, that Pugna is now like the flavor of the month hero that's always picked up. But I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say screw the trends. I'm calling it like I see it, guys. Mask carry. He's gonna play the slow game. Helmet Dominator. Saw that Morbid Mask. Thought maybe Mask of Madness one time. It's been a while. Illusionist actually gonna run straight into a Rocket Barrage. There are no targets to snowball to safety, and he's going to try to turn around. He's snowballing towards the Dazzle, I think. That's not really where you want to be going right now, because there's no escape route here. You're just going to get annihilated. The top lane tower, however, is being pushed. Synergy and Keanu starting to work on that structure, as Team Yugoslavia are looking to erase them objective for objective. Roshan for tier 2. They have a level 1 Necrobook. They have the Weave. Should be a pretty fast Roshan, but at the same time, giving up a tier 2 tower against a team that can't really push that well. Pretty expensive cost here for Team Yugoslavia. But they have to make something happen with this Aegis. Mitch is going to grab that after he grabs SNY. There we go. Gyrocopter now at full strength. Gone to 10 to this top lane, but outside of that, go for... Oh, actually, maybe just go straight for the top lane. The tier 1 tower is still looking pretty tasty up there, and They know that with this Aegis, they're decisively stronger than Team Romania, who should be just, trying 24/7 to dodge the fights. Or dodge the full 5-on-5 fights, rather. That's not something they want to get involved in right now. At a certain point, they will be a little bit more happy to take that fight. They are still very happy to take those smaller scale engagements. But full 5-on-5s, yeah, not really on the docket here for Romania. Not until some of these bigger items come up. Sanj for the Sven is not one of those big items. More like BKB, more like Blink Dagger on him. He is working with a little bit of an ancient stack. Nothing too huge just yet. Arcane boot check is actually pretty important. Do they really have none? Okay, they have none. Maybe Lacoste is going to get his, so you could go for the Guardian Greaves down the line. But yeah. As far as pushing with the Pugna, as far as pushing Pugnas are concerned, it's going to be a little bit weak this game. But that's fine. Here comes the top lane push. And it should be Team Romania to concede this tower. It's going to drop in no time flat. Aura check, level 3 in the Beastmaster. They might actually have enough strength to go straight for the tier 2 afterwards. Like they still have Aegis for a very long time. And Cole's gonna start cutting creep wave along with Cuisine, and so yeah, it should be almost a complete push at this top lane. Hell, they might even try to race for high ground. Like that's a pretty decent move here for Team Yugoslavia. Because again, over in mid lane, Illusionist, Keanu, they're doing their best to take down in tier 1. They'll grab it, but really they can't go for a tier 2 since the tower up on top lane is already dead. Are they not? Okay, well, Victor's gonna peel off and start scouting and whatnot. But yeah, racing these structures is not in the best interest of Team Romania, because OD, again, doesn't really push that well. Unless he's like, 6-slotted, in which case, yeah, any carry hero that's 6-slotted will be pushing pretty well. You see the tier 2 tower down in the meantime, tier 2 tower in the mid lane, barely injured. And the push does not stop for anyone. Choo-choo. Here it comes, boys. Now they gotta watch out for Roar, because if Keanu gets roared, they have to make sure that Snowball is there and or Vacuum Wall in order to kind of brick wall it all. But, the wall is only level 1 right now. Tower's taking some serious deeps, and Keanu's just taking residual damage from Flak Cannon and random AoE spells. They're going to jump in. Here comes the Vacuum Wall. Stormhammer's there as well. Mascari does get roared. However, Deafening Blast pushing him back as well. They've already lost the Darkseer. Mascari is barely going to survive. Now pops the God Strength. A little bit late on that one. Is immediately going to fall. Mitch still has the Aegis. He's going to grab a triple kill. No, Lacoste is going to grab a triple kill. Oh, because of this freaking little bastard of a skill right here. Netherward still survives. That was a 2-hero Vacuum Wall into a Stormhammer. Yet after all is said and done for Team Yugoslavia, they barely lost any HP. They're going to juice right back up again. Lacoste won't have another mech soon, but Mitch still has his Aegis for another 2 freaking minutes. This is not looking good for Team Romania. They were forced to buy back on Keanu. Tusk also forced to expend that gold. They lose their range Raxes. The Nether Ward is so far away, and it's actually impossible for anyone to get on top of it. I kind of regret not clicking that fight recap, because I really would like to see how much damage that Nether Ward does if fight recap actually tells you. Because, if you don't go on top of that Nether Ward, guys, it is going to punish you a lot. Sven also starting to join that fight without the God Strength, but I don't really feel like that was the issue there. The issue is that they weren't able to burst down the heroes that were caught in that combo. Even if Sven did have that God Strength up, maybe they kill off one hero there. But Sven seemed like he just was right in the middle of everything and just could not do anything because of that cooldown slow. Even if he had his God Strength, it's like, he gets one hit off. Who cares? Now we see the rewards reaped by the Team Yugoslavia inside. BKB complete on the Gyrocopter. Aghanim Scepter should be, done on the Invoker. Guardian Greaves after those Arcane Boots on the Pugna. Level 3 book on the Beastmaster. Dazzle doesn't have Jack, but, that's the life of Dazzle. And, well, tier 2 towers still stand. Wow! The shoutouts start early, guys. Call down. Whoa, Mitch is going to pop BKB. Synergy, did he use Vacuum? He didn't even use Vacuum for that. Okay, so that BKB was a little bit awkward. They're going to roar Raise Van, however. Necro units go up. Raise Van's going to get flattened over on the side. Mitch is going to lose his Aegis. Here comes the Tornado, though. He's going to catch the Sven. He's going to catch the Darkseer. Cuisine. Oh, they're all going to get clumped up. Stormhammer onto 3. Eclipse as well. They're going to lose 2 heroes. Cole barely going to edge out and escape. Mitch taking so much damage, though, from Keanu. Is going to put up his Rocket Barrage. And Mascari is going to chase them down. There is no grave available any longer, although they do have a missile. They have a couple more summons here. Mascari is going to get locked down by the Cold Snap. Will fall. Lucius, though, will snowball right in. Kill off that Invoker. Now trying to look for a Victor. There's another grave here from the Dazzle. Summons are still on Lucius' ass, so Victor's going to turn around and start racing, and Lucius is going to lose. Oh, baby. That's going to be a little bit of a messy trade. I'm not really sure what the play was there, since that must have been just like that wasn't really a great BKB usage, to say the least. But sure, man. Sure, Gyrocopter, whatever you want. Yeah, going up on that high ground was kind of risky. Yeah, you land a two-man tornado. You see those targets, you see the Sven and the Darkseer just flying up, doing their thing. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Nether Ward just completely wrecked the OD there. Now I'm watching it on the delay in that top lane fight. So, Nether Ward pretty good up against OD until OD gets BKB. Here it is. Yeah, but walking up into that narrow corridor, that's just, you know, Team Yugoslavia asking for trouble. As durable as Gyrocopter is right now, he really only is durable when he has the Magic Community up, going up against this OD. No one else is really doing enough damage to make him very scared. Armor-wise, he's completely fine versus the Sven, at least for right now. Level 2 God Strength, but Sven only with S and Y. Not really super explosive at the moment. Oh, someone got roared. It's Keanu. That's not good. He's not going to be able to imprison himself, although Snowball is there. I don't think it's going to help him that much, though. Keanu still has a missile flying after him. Mitch is going to cut him off. Plink goes the missile. Down goes the OD. Now Illusionist caught with the Cold Snap is going to fall as well. Guardian Greaves is going to fill the tanks of every single Team Yugoslavia here. That's 2-0. And that's OD down the sidelines for 60 seconds. And in that minute, oh, they're going to lose a lot. They've already lost a tier 2. And here comes the push. Alacrity on a melee Necro Warrior is legit. Although Cole is going to say, screw that, I'm going to put it on myself. Probably even more legit, so I guess he's correct there. But yeah, the Raxes are going to fall super quickly. Razorban's going to throw a Grave Chill. They're going to jump in, vacuum. BKB this time up on Mitch. And Mascari is going to try to cleave through all of them. Lacoste, though, is going to get saved by the Grave. Cole is going to be the one focused down. Mascari, though, cannot afford to trade his life like that. And he's going to fall with buyback granted. But Razorban also going to pick off. Tiana's going to call it. 30 seconds still on the sidelines until the OD comes back alive. And OD, even though he does do very, very well in that laning phase, we saw it versus the Invoker. He was thrashing the Invoker in mid. As far as fighting early, he needs that gold. It was kind of curious to me that he got that Hand of Midas so late compared to the Invoker. I guess the Invoker just gunned straight for it. And the OD stopped for Power Tread's Null Talismans. He had 2 of them at one point, and now he has none. Yeah, you really have like a sweet spot early game for OD and a sweet spot super late. In between those, a little bit awkward, and that's really that timing that we see right now for Team Yugoslavia. I did not expect this push to be that aggressive. Again, it wasn't really a push engineered by Pugnet. It was mostly the Beastmaster and Invoker and successful team fights beforehand, but for sure it was Mitch's Gyrocopter that carried Team Yugoslavia to victory. Not in the traditional sense of just being able to rotate around and kind of patch up those weaknesses in lane. But guys, this is game 1 in the books. Team Romania 1 game away from getting dropped out of the tournament. I'm Mikelorus. It's been a pleasure casting this game for you, and I'll be right back in just a little bit, guys.